Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. Yep, I still got that little bit of a cold. My voice hasn't fully come back, but I'm thanking everyone right now. 9,000 subscribers. Wow, that is amazing. Love you all. I thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for listening. But I'm just very thankful that there's 9,000 of you, pretty much. I mean, will be listen to me and are most of the time in line with how we all feel in terms of Zack Snyder, in terms of the films we love, Godzilla, DCEU in general. So I'm glad that I have people out there, this much people out there who I can call like our friends, pretty much just being supportive of each other and trying to hope for the best, trying to see what if the Snyder Cut will be released, to see that creativity, the director creative rights are fulfilled, and just enjoying DCEU, enjoying Godzilla, and I can't be any more happy about that. So thank you very much for 9,000 subscribers. Very awesome. Let's hopefully get 10,000 and see how many more people out there. Who else can we find to join us? So anyway, this I've got an update on that whole Amy Adams as Lois Lane issue. She clarified, and this is coming from Bleeding Cool. She had spoken to press rounds for Vice, and she confirmed that she doesn't really know about the whole Lois Lane thing. She said this: you know what's funny? I actually don't know. Haven't had any official conversation with anybody. I was just talking with Nicole Kidman about it, and I was like, oh, I guess I've got to be careful what I say. But yeah, I haven't had any word officially. And we kind of knew that. We kind of figured that she didn't really know. It just seems like she even said it in that Variety little interview. She says, I don't know. She's pretty much assuming, because no one has talked to her about it, that she may be out as Lois Lane. So that clarifies it for us. She doesn't know, no official word about it. She hasn't had any conversation on another movie she'd be involved in. She could still be Lois Lane, and I really hope she is still Lois Lane. I have a good feeling and belief that she will continue to be it. Just right now, they're not making or any plans whatsoever. And it's kind of funny she's clarified that maybe her reps came out, or even Warner Bros. Says, hey, we're not done yet. Please don't go saying that kind of stuff. So I'm glad that she clarified that, and should that put that to rest. But most of us already figured as much, right? I mean, I kind of did. I said that. I mean, that it's not really going to be that way. So, but in any case, I think the tides are turning in terms of DCEU. And one of them is being that Aquaman has been released internationally. Most internationally, in a way to get that buzz going. Before it reaches United States, before a lot of these kind of different critics get a chance to really put it down, and people have been tweeting about the certain biases of these critics, and it seems more apparent now. It felt like it wasn't, but it seems more apparent now. In fact, other critics and bloggers and YouTubers have been calling some of these people out, and it's such it's very disappointing to see them do that. But gladly, we have some bloggers and YouTubers are actually getting into it, into the Rotten Tomatoes aggregates. And so like Shiraz Ferrucci from Comic Book Debate, he now can post reviews for DCEU. Huge supporter for Zack Snyder films, huge supporter for all types of films. He loves Marvel too. So it's great to see that type of person included in that score. Grace Randolph is now included. She was a BVS supporter. She was that DCEU supporter. So I'm glad to see her on there as well. We need some of those people on there as well. So it's great. But internationally, Aquaman is boom. It's just like leaps. It's like this tide, a tsunami of a box office receipts coming in. So today, new Aquaman stats from Warner Brothers. 15.9 million Monday from 43 international markets, raising cum to $284.1 million. China box office total now a stunning 195.2 million through 11 days, and set to break 200 million mark in only 12 or 13 days. And by the time you see this, it might have already broken it. Will surpass 300 million global by Thursday when it opens in the U.S. market at the number 1 spot. And so that's the one we'll be looking forward to see how much it's going to make in the domestic box office. Some remember when it was just 65 million. Then it went to 85 million. Who knows now? A lot of the pre-advanced sales, they broke records in pre-sale tickets to like Atom tickets so far. So we'll see how this turns out. But I feel and I believe this is this movie may reach $1 billion status, and that'd be great. That would be a surefire win for the DC Extended Universe, and a surefire win for creative rights in a way. This director, James Wan, really made a film, a James Wan film. There was, as at least what we've seen, and at least what I've seen, it doesn't look like there was any type of corporate influence in it. Like no Warner Brothers had gotten hands on it as much as like they did with Suicide Squad and Justice League. When you watch this film and you've watched James Wan's films, including Fast and Furious, whether you like it or not, I'm not saying that you should like, I'm just saying whether you like it or not, that type of film is translated into Aquaman. And you see that little moments, like them coming onto the beach with that pop music. That's like weird for a lot of people, but that's something you'd see in the Fast and Furious movies. So I'm very confident that no other execs had their hand in this. And the movie is 2 hours and 20 something minutes, so they didn't cut it down at all. They let James Wan be James Wan. They let him put in as much comic booky things he wanted to make it over the top. It shows right there, and for me it works. For me, I love that tone and type of film. And we know Zack Snyder never really intended for all these films to look alike. We know that. Okay, he said himself that he let the Flash directors make what their Flash costs. He just made the prototype so that he can put in his Justice League film, his Aquaman. He talked to James Wan. He says, okay, James Wan wants to show Atlantis. I'm gonna allow you to do that. He's took a step back and said, hey, you're right. You're the Aquaman. You can make it. So. And it's good. We don't want all the films to all look alike like some other cinematic universes. But James Wan even said it. He actually, in an interview with New York Times, he said that it's good if all the other films have their own flavor, so they don't force them to feel the same. And I like that. I love that. I want every film to be different. It doesn't have to be the same. If you're the director with multiple movies and you want your films to look the same, great. But in terms of having that creative freedom, we don't want that. We already heard news about that one lady director who said that Marvel, and her name's slipping my mind, but said that Marvel wanted her to do some things. She didn't care for it. They didn't want her. She said they're telling her, don't worry about the action scenes, but she wanted to do the action scenes, but they said no. You can tell Marvel action scenes all look pretty much alike. I say the only movie that really differs from the rest of them is Thor Ragnarok, in terms of it went really far out in that comedy, although even that felt more like Guardians of the Galaxy. So I would say I'm really digging what the DCEU is. I'm really digging that. Hopefully this is the start of them embracing the fact that all films have their own flavor. All directors get to make the film they want to make. If Wonder Woman 1984 and Patty Jenkins wants it to make it look like the old Linda Carter, that's her choice. At least it's her choice. And everything, all the basis of it came from Zack Snyder. Even cooler is the fact that Jason Momoa and Amber Heard, and this is a little clip from Fandango, they both discuss how Aquaman achieves exactly what Zack Snyder set out to do with their characters from the beginning of the DCEU. What he set out for Mara as Amber Heard as Mara, Jason Momoa as Arthur Curry, the characters that was developed transferred into Aquaman, and they grew from there. He gave the skeleton for each of these characters to grow their own origins in their own films. That's what Justice League was. It was just a push-off point. And with the fact that when Aquaman comes out and you watch it, there are references of Man of Steel. There are, more like homages to Man of Steel. There are references to Justice League and the Snyder Cut, because he does say that he talked to Volko and Mara before, saying that he didn't want anything to do with that. And so there are references that it connects to that. So hopefully that could mean that DCEU, Warner Brothers, Walter Hamada, whoever's in charge, is going to take a step back and say, hey, we could make this happen. We could actually release the Snyder Cut with no big deal. If it's essentially the same movie that we kind of saw the other year, because it's the more recent version where every hero gets off in a stepping point, but in Zack Snyder's way of telling the movie, in Zack Snyder's version of retelling of Justice League, we could get that. And hopefully they see that. Hopefully they see the success of Aquaman. The success of Aquaman tells them, this is how we should be doing the films from now on. We should have been doing this from the beginning. Every director gets to make the film that they want, and it still work. It will still work. And I essentially believe, hopefully, that Warner Brothers does think this way, and it's seemingly so right now. So, Dave Sandberg seemingly has all his hands on Shazam. That's the movie he wants to make. James Wan, that's the movie he wants to make. Patty Jenkins, Matt Reeves, they're going to allow him to make the Batman he wants. There are situations where it's hard to see how it would connect together, but hopefully it works out, and hopefully Walter Hamada and the Warner Brothers execs, even DC and Jim Lee, knows something in the background. They're not telling it, and that's good. They're not showing their cards, which I think that's what they're doing. They know what their cards are. They're just not showing it. So hopefully that's how it is. But it looks like this international success for Aquaman is doing really well. We have to thank Jason Momoa for this, for pulling it out. He really, I know people said that the DCEU didn't need saving, but I think the DCEU needed saving from the execs. They needed saving from those execs, and thankfully, after a lot of those execs got fired, Kevin Sujihara put all his faith into Walter Hamada and Jim Lee and stuff like that. They're putting they managed to stay away from James Wan. Let him do his work. Aquaman looks like it's going to be a real big success, and Jason Momoa is there right front and center, the golden child of this DCEU, the new big thing, and gladly he's very open, right? Because he talked about the Snyder Cut, he's talked about it, he really made his case about it, put it out in the open, and a lot of different bloggers and people actually want to say, I want to see the Snyder Cut too. So I think that's a great way. Whether that was intentional or not, whether that was cued in or not, who knows? But he did say it, and he kind of put us in the open as well. The people who love the Snyder Cut fans, put us in the open. So we love to thank him for that. So in this case, I want to just push it to Charlie Costum. and Kegler Ali Dolgan. Sorry, I'm butchering guys' names, but they are Charlie had put out something where he's asking us to send him a video thanking Jason Momoa for his hard work and being Aquaman and things like that, and also putting out the Snyder Cut, voicing it in a way to the public. All this, it's a short video. You can do 10 to 3 minutes, all up to you. And then I'll put all the links to where you can send it or who you can talk to in order to get that video across. And he's going to put a video tribute together for Jason Momoa. I know I said McD earlier. I was totally wrong. I'm sorry about that. It's actually Charlie. And so thank you so much for putting this together. And hopefully we'll get to see that to fruition. Deadline is December 12th. So you don't have much time. By the time you see this, probably tomorrow. So hopefully you see this and send out the video. I know one person who really liked this idea, and when they put it out this on Vero, Zack Snyder liked it. So that could mean something. Zack Snyder also liked something else, and that is this. I want to believe Justice League Snyder Cut. This little picture here. Believe Zack Snyder seemingly asking us to believe in it, saying that we shouldn't lose hope in it. There may not be any news, may not be anything in the spotlight or anything like that, but he is, kind of in a way signaling us to believe in it, believe in Jason, whatever Jason Momoa did and whatever that he posted. The bell has rung, cannot be unrung, seemingly has an effect. I think it really does have an effect, and we're gonna maybe hear some great news later. But who knows, right? Who knows? Tinfoil hat on. We've had all these different people come out that things are going to happen like this. It's going to release in November 2019 or whatever. We don't know the truth. In fact, that certain person said he knew a friend who was a friend of Jay Oliva. Jay Oliva actually responded. And I won't go into detail what they talked about, but really Jay was curious who this person knew too. Does that mean it's not going to come out? Who knows? He doesn't know either. He said at one point, Jay said that really only Zack Snyder will know when something will come out. But he did say this, that Jay believes that if and when Warner Brothers decides to release it, I'm sure it will be a media blitz where they will announce it like at Comic-Con or some other big event. Now, I'm not implying at all that San Diego Comic-Con 2019 is going to have the Snyder Cut or something like that. I'm not implying that at all. It could happen. But I'm just saying that if Jay Oliva believes that Snyder Cut is a big deal enough to be announced at a Comic-Con, it's a big deal to me. It's a big deal to you. But for him to say that it might just be a big deal to the world and they're going to make a big deal out of it, and that's great. That means they're not just going to here's the Snyder Cut, weirdos, here's the Snyder Cut. We're just going to throw it in streaming or something. If they're going to make a big deal about it, it's going to be a big deal. And hopefully that also translates to theatrical. And so that'd be quite amazing, quite interesting. I really want them to make a big deal of it. I don't know about you, but I would love to make them big deal about it. It's all this positivity, Jason Momoa, everybody. I know it's James Wan's film, but they keep Amber Heard and Jason Momoa keeps implying that thanks, Zack Snyder. Thank you, Zack Snyder. Thank you, Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder did this. It's seemingly the tides are turning for more positivity, Zack Snyder. And I think that's a great thing overall in the end. And just like what Zack Snyder has wanted us to do is to believe in the Justice League Snyder Cut and believe that one day it will get released. All right, guys, that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.